Hey everybody, what's going on? It's KG. I'm going to be your guide today as we go through the LG OLED lineup and help you figure out which LG OLED is going to be best for your needs. So if you decided, yes, I want an LG OLED, but I'm not quite sure which one to get, this guide is definitely for you. So let's go through them because not every OLED TV is created equal. First, I'm going to start from going to the cheapest model all the way up to the most expensive model. And make sure you stick around after we go through all the models. I'm going to give you some buying advice in terms of looking at the different sizes available to see which one is going to fit you at the end of the day, depending on which size you pick and your actual needs. So let's start off with the LG B series. This is the LG B4 for 2024, and this is going to be kind of your entry into OLED. There's not going to be a cheaper LG OLED TV on the market unless you catch one of the 2023 models for a very good discount. I highly doubt that you'll find it cheaper than the LG B4 at the current time of filming. The LG B4 has 4 HDMI 2.1 ports that are capable of 120Hz gaming. Unlike the other two that I'm going to talk about in a second, though, it doesn't do 144 Hz, so you won't have that capability. The processor that's being used here is the Alpha 8 AI processor. This is a new processor for the LG B series. Before they were using an older processor, so this processor is definitely an upgrade to the B series in the past. In fact, the B series entirely is a big upgrade over previous B series that were also just of a weaker spec. They didn't have 4 HDMI 2.1 ports like you see here, so the B series is presenting a really good value as it's just kind of like a baby C series in some ways. The LG B series unfortunately doesn't have the brightness booster technology that LG OLED markets. We'll discuss this impact a little bit later in the comparison section, but just know that in HDR content, the LG B4 won't be as bright as the LG C4. Besides the lack of brightness booster and the ability to do 144 Hz, feature-wise, you're not missing much here with the LG B4 OLED. One thing that is different with the LG B4 OLED though is going to be the stand option that is available with the B4. You do have very wide legs here on the LG B4, so you're going to want to keep those things in mind when you're talking about where you're going to place this TV depending on how big it is. When you're going to the 83-inch size, the stand does change to a centralized design. This is going to be a very similar design to the old LG OLEDs in the past. Here are the prices of the TV. At the time of filming, it's advertised this is the Black Friday price, so you probably won't find it much lower than this unless you're going to wait a little bit longer than past Black Friday. So the 48-inch is going to be $649, the 55-inch is going to be $999, the 65-inch is $1299, the 77-inch is $1599, and the 83-inch is $2499. So these are the prices that I see right now, but with all these TVs, you can get them cheaper if you fall under the discount program. For example, if you're a first responder, a military, part of an education program, many other things can also qualify for benefits as well. Definitely check into these discount programs. You'll be surprised at how much you can save. Alternatively, if you're not able to get those discounts, there are promo codes that you can use on the LG website. One of the ones I saw was 10% off. I can't guarantee that it'll work at the time that you're watching it, but definitely give it a shot. It's in the description and comment section if you are interested. And while you're down there, if you could, please consider using my affiliate links. If you end up buying one of these TVs, I would appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for your support. So next up, the step-up model from the LG B4 would be the LG C4. And this TV is very similar to the LG B4 we just talked about. In fact, it has almost the same specs except for two things. The brightness booster technology, which is going to give you better HDR impact overall, and it is capable of doing 144 Hz gaming. The gaming spec other than that is pretty much identical, and you still have VRR here, so you have the variable refresh rate, so you do have tear-free gaming. And that's always going to be with every LG OLED TV that you buy. The LG C4 is going to have the same Alpha 9 AI processor that it has had in previous TVs, but it is going to be an updated Gen 7 version of it. That said, it is going to be weaker than the Alpha 11 processor that is found in the LG G4. This is the first time where the LG G4 and C4 have a different processor altogether, and I also noticed that the LG B4's processor, the new Alpha 8 processor, can do some things a little bit better than the Alpha 9 Gen 7 processor, such as color banding. When I was testing out games, I noticed that the C4 had worse color banding than the LG B4, so that was a little unfortunate to see. I'll have a little bit more about the game mode for these LG OLED TVs a little bit later, but there's something with the C series that you definitely need to hear about, so stay tuned if you are a gamer. Now, when it comes down to the actual sizes that are available with this TV, there is one unique thing about the LG C series that the other TVs don't offer, and that is a 42-inch size. So, the only way to get a 42-inch LG OLED TV in 2024 is to buy the LG C4. And the 42-inch size is actually an upgrade from past 42-inch sizes, as they've managed to get this TV to be brighter than past 42-inch LG OLED TVs. Now, compared to the LG B4, the LG C4's design is more premium looking, and it has a centralized pedestal stand. That is not the case though with the 42-inch size, where that one does have wider feet. So you're going to have to keep that in mind when you're talking about the 42-inch size. And like we talked about with the 83-inch size in the B4, this one is going to have that same older style LG OLED stand. So that just seems to be the case with the B4 and C4 83-inch versions. Here are the prices for the LG C4 as of today. We have the 42-inch at $899, the 48-inch is $999, the 55-inch is $1299, the 65-inch is $1499, the 77-inch is $2199, and the 83-inch is $3299. All right, now we're going to step it up to the LG G4. This is going to be the most premium series that is going to be offered in 2024 from LG. This is their flagship OLED TV, and this is the one that you're probably going to want to target if you want the best picture quality from an LG OLED TV. What makes the LG G4 different from the LG B4 and the C4 is that it uses MLA micro lens array technology on top of what the LG OLED already is. So this results in brighter picture overall and better colors overall because of this premium technology that LG OLED TVs are using. Another reason why the LG G4 is very special compared to the C4 and the B4 is because it uses the Alpha 11 AI processor. This is LG's brand new processor, which is going to provide awesome picture quality in terms of sharpness and clarity from the actual picture itself. In my opinion, this is the best OLED TV that LG has ever created in terms of their picture quality. They nail it, and the brightness that this thing can pump out is amazing. This is a really awesome experience when you're sitting in front of HDR content that's really going to blow your mind. On top of that, they offer this TV in an 83-inch size where you are not going to have that in the past. The LG G3 didn't have this capability in the 83-inch size. And if you're looking at a G4, chances are you're looking at a QD OLED as well, but there's not an 83-inch QD OLED, so this is kind of your only option in the premium OLED market in the 83-inch size. What if you want a bigger size though? You have to look at a 97-inch LG G4. Wow. That's actually the first time we've seen the 97-inch size in this lineup. But it is a very expensive TV, and it doesn't have MLA technology, so you have to remember that if you're looking at the 97-inch size. You're not quite getting the same experience, but it's still a 97-inch OLED, so I'm sure it'll be awesome and immersive. One thing about the LG G4 is that it does actually include a 5-year panel warranty with the TV itself, which the C4 and the B4 do not offer you with the actual TV purchase. So the stand options with the LG G4 is a bit complicated. The 55-inch and 65-inch version come with a middle pedestal stand. The 77-inch, 83-inch, and 97-inch sizes have a wall mount in the TV box itself, so you won't have a stand included with those TVs. Now, I have heard this is region specific, so certain regions may have different configurations, so definitely check and see which one is going to be right for your region. Right now, the pricing for this TV is the 55-inch is $17.99, the 65-inch is $22.99, the 77-inch is $34.99, the 83-inch is $49.99, and the 97-inch is $19,999. Okay, so now we know the whole entire lineup, but which one should you buy and how do they compare? Let's talk about that right now. So the C4 and the B4, which one is going to be right for most people? I would say that if your budget is strictly the B4, stick with that. You are going to get more HDR brightness out of the C4, but in SDR, I'm telling you, that picture was very similar, and in game mode, there was barely any difference. Yes, the C4 is slightly brighter, but you are losing color when you go into game mode with the LG C4, where when you go into game mode with the B4, it's going to be the same color and brightness that you get outside of game mode. So you're not going to notice a drop off there, but you would notice a drop off going into game mode with the C4. Just one of those kind of things that is there that you need to watch out for. That said, I do think that the C4 is a better TV overall than the B4, but it's not by a ton, you know? So, like, if the price is going to be really close and you want that deciding factor, look, remember, you can get a 77-inch version of the LG B4 for $15.99. If you want a 77-inch version of the C4, that's going to cost you $24.99. So a $900 difference, to me, that is a tough ask, and I would probably just go with a 77-inch B4 if I'm just needing an OLED TV, especially if you're not really needing a ton of HDR brightness out of your TV and you just want a good OLED TV overall. The LG B4 can give that to you. Same thing can be said about the 83-inch size, right? I mean, like, once we get to bigger sizes, that's where I think we need to have that conversation that the B4 is just a better value overall, and that's the one I think most people should gravitate towards. Now, when it comes down to the C4 in the 55-inch size, however, though, like, we're talking about a little bit lesser of a difference because $12.99 versus $9.99, and then $14.99 for the 65-inch C4 versus $12.99 for the 65-inch B4. Again, that's where I can gravitate towards the C4 a little bit more, but 77-inch, 83-inch, I definitely would say the B4 for those sizes. All right, so what about the G4? Maybe you're undecided on if you should spend that extra money to get the G4 and what you're going to get versus the C4. Well, you're going to get more brightness overall in not only HDR, but in SDR, which is going to be the majority of the content that most people watch their TV in. And it is a noticeable difference. And you're also going to see that game mode is a gigantic difference from going from the C4 to the G4. The G4 actually doesn't lose anything going into game mode. You don't lose brightness, you don't lose the color brightness. Everything just looks great on the LG G4 as it did outside of game mode. It is going to be my gamer's choice for the LG OLED TV lineup if you can get to that level. That is highly recommended because it is the best gaming OLED TV from LG that you can buy. The other thing to mention is the 5-year panel warranty that you get with the LG G4. That's something that you might buy a warranty anyway, and then depending on what size you get, you can make an argument that maybe the G4 is actually a better value. In the 77-inch and 83-inch sizes, it does come with a wall mount, where with the C4, that doesn't come with a wall mount and you'll have to buy that separately. So these are things that you'll have to keep in mind when you're talking about the C4 versus the G4. Ultimately, though, whatever TV you get, just pick the one that's best for your budget and you're going to get awesome picture quality no matter which of these three you pick. They all are really great. At the end of the day, they're all going to be very capable TVs, so just pick the one that fits you and your budget the best. That's your best bet. If you have any questions at all regarding these TVs and the choices you might make towards them, you can always ask me questions in the comments section below. But if you want to watch visual comparisons that I did of these TVs, well, you can watch those comparisons right now by clicking the thumbnail on the screen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one.